Toby loved Lucy like a man possessed. How he loved her, how he longed for her, was unhealthy. It was disturbing. It was wrong. But Toby didn't care because he had her now, and no one, absolutely no one, could ever tear them apart. It all started when Toby was 18. Back then, he was just a nerdy kid who liked comics and video games and spent most of his free time in chat rooms trying to find someone to date. One night, he stumbled upon a forum called Dark Corners of the Web where people shared creepypastas and other scary stuff. And this is where he found the spell. It was written by a user called Crimson King. It was supposed to make any girl fall in love with the caster. Of course, Toby didn't believe it, but he was desperate and lonely and maybe just a little insane. So he gathered the ingredients, read the incantation, and cast the spell. The next day in school, Toby noticed Lucy for the first time. She was sitting in the library reading a book, and she was the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. So Toby did what any normal guy would do. He walked up to her and asked her out. To his surprise, she said yes, and they started dating. For a while, everything was perfect. They went to movies, played video games, and had sex. Lucy was everything Toby had ever dreamed of. But then, something strange started to happen. Lucy became obsessed with Toby. She couldn't get enough of him. She would spend hours touching and kissing him and whispering sweet nothings in his ear. And Toby loved it, at least at first. But then it became too much. He tried to break up with Lucy, but she wouldn't have it. She begged and pleaded with him, but Toby was adamant. This wasn't how he wanted things to be, but Lucy wouldn't accept his rejection. She turned up at his house, uninvited, demanding that he take her back. And when he refused, she'd cut herself. It was then that Toby realized what he had done. He had created a monster. The spell had worked, but it had also made Lucy insane. Toby was scared, but he was also ashamed. He knew that he had caused this, that it was his fault, that Lucy was now a crazy, psychotic girlfriend from hell. Toby couldn't live like this anymore. He needed to fix things. But how? He couldn't risk telling anyone about the spell or his involvement in it. That would bring bad attention onto him and his family. So he decided to keep everything a secret and try to undo the spell. He returned to the dark corners of the web forum and searched for Crimson King, the author of the spell. He wanted to ask him how to reverse the spell, but all he got was an error message. The account had been deleted. Toby was furious. He felt betrayed, manipulated even. Why would someone write a spell like this and then delete their account before anyone could ask them how to reverse it? Was this some kind of sick joke? In the end, there was only one thing Toby could do. He had to perform a counterspell. He scoured the internet for a way to undo his mistake, reading every book on demonology and black magic he could find. Finally, he found what he was looking for, a ritual that would break the bond between him and Lucy. But the ritual was dangerous and it came with a warning. If the caster was not careful, they would become the vessel for the demon they were trying to banish. In other words, Toby would become possessed by the same demon that was possessing Lucy. Toby didn't care. He was willing to risk everything to be free of Lucy and her demonic presence. So he performed the ritual. He stood in a circle of salt, chanting the words of power, and as the demon was banished, he felt a surge of energy flow through him. It was a feeling unlike anything he had ever experienced before. He was scared, but he was also excited. He had defeated the demon. He was free of Lucy and her spell. Or so he thought, because now he was the one who was possessed. Toby had not been careful. He had not followed the instructions exactly as they were written. And now he was paying the price. The demon was inside him, controlling him, and Toby was powerless to stop it. At first it was subtle. He would have moments where he lost control, where he would say or do things without meaning to. But as time went on, it became more and more obvious. Toby became violent and unpredictable. He would lash out at people for no reason, and he would disappear for days at a time, returning home covered in dirt and blood. Meanwhile, Lucy was getting worse. She was having visions of the future and she was using them to manipulate Toby. When she saw that Toby was going to break up with her, she cut herself and threatened to kill herself if he didn't take her back. Toby, being the coward that he was, took her back. And when Lucy saw that Toby was being controlled by a demon, she decided that she would use this to her advantage. She visited a psychic and told him about the demon inside Toby. And the psychic told her that she could use the demon to gain power, to become all-powerful, even. All she had to do was make a deal with the demon. The psychic warned Lucy that this was dangerous, that she could lose Toby forever if she wasn't careful. But Lucy didn't care. She was willing to risk everything to have the power to control Toby. So she made the deal. Lucy embraced the darkness within Toby and together they became one. Toby, being the strong vessel that he was, resisted at first, But Lucy was too powerful. She had the upper hand and she used it. She forced Toby to do her bidding, turning him into her personal slave. One day, Lucy decided that she wanted more than just power over Toby. She wanted to become all-powerful. She wanted to rule the world. She believed that with Toby's help, she could do it. She could use his connection to the demon to open portals and bring demons into our world. Together, they would conquer everything. Toby didn't want this. He didn't want to help Lucy, but he couldn't stop her. He was under her control. He was her slave. So, he did what she told him to do. He helped her open the portals and bring the demons into our world. At first, Lucy was successful. The demons did her bidding and she gained more power. But then things started to go wrong. The demons were not under her control. They were too powerful. They were too evil. They started to turn on Lucy, torturing her, tearing her body and mind. And Toby watched it all. He wanted to help Lucy, but he couldn't. He was trapped inside his own body, unable to move, unable to speak. He was watching his world be destroyed, his own personal hell. As Lucy screamed in pain, Toby felt a surge of demonic power. The demon inside him was growing stronger, taking over his entire being. With a final burst of energy, the demon broke free and Toby was no more. In his place stood a creature of pure evil, a demon lord who had come to claim his birthright. The demon lord looked down at Lucy's broken body and smiled. He had waited a long time for this moment and now it was his. He raised his hand and with a snap of his fingers, Lucy was dead. Then the demon lord turned his attention to the portal. He had come to this world to claim it as his own, and he would do just that. He stepped through the portal and vanished. The demon lord had claimed his birthright and the world was doomed. Or perhaps it was destined to be doomed. Who knows? Maybe it was always meant to be this way. Maybe the whole thing was just a big cosmic joke. Now check out how this girl opened a portal to hell in her backyard. Or click this other video instead. Come on, you know you want to.